So there we have it. It is built. It turned out so cool. I love it. The shelves are nicely even. I'm so happy with it. It looks so good. So now we're gonna get it painted. And I'm gonna put you back on top because I just think it's better for you if it's back on top. I don't know, you can let me know if you would prefer overhead or side view, but for now I'm putting you back on top. Okay, so we're gonna start by base painting this with truffle. And then once that's dry, I'm going to put Chantilly on top. I've already gone through and sanded it because I figure anyone who's watching already knows how to sand. And it does get loud. So, yeah. So let's get started. I'm using this truffle for everything. I love this color. It's just perfect. But I want it to a base because I do want to distress this a little bit. Uh-oh. There we go. I was afraid that was going to be a big mess coming off of there. Let's see. Ooh, come on. That down in there. There we go. Oops. Well, all right. I'm not even sure where to start. I'm just going to dive in here, I guess. I'll start up here. I also thought that the darker color would be good for the ends, since these were so charred. I thought it would be better to have the darker color. Let me move this over and bring this in. There we go. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why it was so dark. It's getting dark outside. All right. Yeah, this is covering up those dark ends really nice. Probably should have painted my pieces before putting them together. The problem with that is that the glue doesn't like to adhere to paint. And I didn't want there to be a problem. But I could have at least painted the top of the shells. I've got a smaller brush here. See if that gets in there better. There we go. Now this is going to sit on the back wall. I was having a hard time deciding between the back wall and the side wall. I had a bigger shelf originally, and I was going to have it sitting on the side wall and like this to the side and have the desk over here. I didn't like that only because I don't think there was enough room. It seemed very crowded for the desk, and you couldn't see the items on the shelves very well. And I thought it would give the desk space more room. Like I said, it's a pretty narrow room. So there wasn't a lot that I could do in this room. It was a design choice that I made when I built the house. because I wanted the family room to be bigger. And I'll put that over there. I wanted the family room to be bigger. And I took out the stairs to help accommodate this other room. So, you know, sometimes you have to make the hard choices. And that was one of them. Alright, this is going pretty good. This works. Let's see what I'm doing here. So if you were to build this, or any shelf, I guess, I would probably recommend painting at least the shelves before putting it together. Because the shelves are not going to have glue on them. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, we are back to do the Chantilly. I sanded off. It's nice and smooth. I'm really excited how this turned out. I cannot wait to see it finished. I'm very glad. So we're using the Dixie Belle Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint Chantilly. I think I've mentioned several times how much I love this paint. And my plan is to be buying all the colors. All the colors. All right. Let's start with the inside this time, I think. So we're going to be sanding this back to hopefully show some of the brown. Not a lot, but some of the brown. And I'm going to go ahead and be silent and fast forward through this as well, because you don't need to listen to me gab while I am painting. See you on the other side. All right, there is our beauty completed. I'm really thrilled with how this turned out. It's got that nice rustic look, the beautiful arches. I was able to get the brown distressing. There's a few more spaces I'd probably distress. I really love how this turned out through here. I have a little gouge down here that I added. I really do love that. And I think it looks great. The question is it finished? I don't think so. I say let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into and see what we can do to spruce this up a bit. See you on the other side. Okay, so there's lots we could do here. One of the things I would suggest, if I were to do this again, I would probably paint the back wall after I got the sides up, just because it was really hard to get back there to paint and to sand. I ended up having to do the last coat of paint with a smaller brush, but globbing the paint on in the beginning definitely helped. I think the sanding was the hardest part, and I still see a couple spots I would need to get in there and sand. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Another suggestion is something you could do with this. Once you got the sides on, you could take some wallpaper or scrapbooking paper and cover the back. I think that would look really neat too, to have a beautiful background. I think like a green leafy background would be pretty, depending on the colors in the room. So, and depending on what you're going to do with the shelf as well. So that's another idea. Another thought is, it is a rustic shelf. It's meant to be very simplistic. It sits on the ground. It's meant to be a very rustic shelf, I think. But I do think we could possibly spruce it up. So I went to my stash and I found a few pieces that I think could work with this. I have a piece of dental molding that might look nice on it. It is a little more ornate than what this piece calls for, I think, although it could take it up to another level. I also have this lone piece of, I don't even know where I got it. I'm assuming probably miniatures.com. And it's my last stash, and I don't even know what I used this for. It might have been bought as a chair rail since it had a nice little lip there. I'm not sure. It does make a good windowsill. That's what I used another piece of this for. But I like this for a piece of trim. It's very simple, so it goes along with the very simple rustic piece, but it gives a little more of an upgrade to this. So I think I'm going to go with this. My thought is to have it go around the sides. The back that will be against the wall, I'll just have a piece of wood to tie it together. And then on the top, do a couple layers of wood for the top. I don't want to get, again, too fancy, but I think just a layer on top that covers the piece and then a beveled piece on top would be nice. Another thought that I've had is on the feet, the bottom. Again, with this kind of piece, I don't think there's anything wrong with just having this sit directly on the floor. We could step it up a little bit. Let me move these out of the way. I went to my stash and I have these two pieces. I believe I printed them for furniture cabinet feet. I added some holes in them before I printed them. Two reasons. These could always stack together to form a lamp. So you could have maybe 4 or 5 of them together. In fact, that's what I did with the lamp that's in my entryway now. It's not quite weighted enough. I'd have to come up with a better base for that. But that was why I put, one of the reasons why I put a hole in there. The other reason is, as you're gluing them, to have a piece of toothpick that's maybe drilled into the bottom here, glued and drilled, and then have it go in here. They'll be a little more stable. But my thought here, I only have 2 left. And the thought was, if I were to build a base that's just simple rectangular base, goes along the back, along the 2 sides, and down, let me show this way, goes down the back, the 2 sides, it comes up right past the middle. That basically is the feet that's going to hold it to the floor. But then have these 2 decorative pieces here right in front of the piece of wood back here. It could be nice. I have not decided if I want that look. I just think it might be a little more than what I wanted. Not to mention, for the height, I want to be able to have enough height space that I can put a basket up here, maybe a plant that's hanging down, a couple of candles on candlesticks, maybe. I want to have some room, and this is definitely going to put me higher. Now the ceilings in this house are very tall. That's the nice thing about this house. The ceilings are very tall. And the rooms are good size. And I suppose it doesn't look horrible, but I don't know if this is what I want to do. So for now, I'm going to put those aside and we're going to work on this. That means that I need to figure out how to do miters while on camera. And I am not very good at miter cuts. Not very good at all. I do have this, I suppose. I don't know if it'll crunch this wood though, because it's got to be cut this way. Because I need it to face to the back, right? So if I cut it here, that means this will face to the back, but will this crunch the piece? Probably. Let's see. Oh no, wow, that cut very nice. All right. That, oh my goodness, that cut's so nice. Look at that. And it didn't split the wood. Wow. I think my biggest challenge is that I don't want this to lay flush because then I lose my arch, which is the main reason why I liked this piece. So I do need to have it set up here a little higher. That's going to be a challenge. I think that's going to be my biggest challenge, is how do I get these glued on? Yeah, that's going to be the challenge. All right, where's my pencil? Okay, so that corner is right there. See, if I mess up these cuts, this is the only piece I have left. So I would have to do something different if I mess these cuts up too much. All right, so that's going that way. I need this to go that way. All right. So if I cut, nope, it's got to go that way. All right, let's put this down. Change this. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. So that corner right there is the corner that's touching the bookshelf. And if I cut it at that angle, it's pointed to the back, and it should be the right length. There's nothing. Okay, that one didn't cut quite as nice. I did get a little split there, but it is on the money. All right, yay. Let me erase that right now. Okay, okay, okay. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I still have 2 more of these cuts to make, but I got a lot of wood in which to make that. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is pause this, get this painted with the base color, and get this painted. All right, we have, so I can just go ahead and regrouped a little bit. I am a strong proponent in working with what you can do and trying to do other things. So I cannot do mitered corners. I have tried. I don't have much luck at them at all. And with this piece, it is definitely not happening. However, if you look at what I have right now, you cannot see that there are no mitered corners. And I'm just going to be happy with that because I can't be perfect. There are certain things I just can't get, and hopefully one day I will, but that is not happening today. So I have a beautiful front to this. I think it turned out nice. And I have side pieces that I had to add in. I know it is not ideal, and it's not something that I would want to show, but I also want to show that, because I know when I watch these videos, I watch Julie Warren or watch Queen City Minis or Richard, so many others. And I think, wow, I could never do that. I screw things up so bad because when they do their videos, they just look like they don't ever make a mistake. And I'm sure that's probably not true, but it's disheartening when you're watching them and then you go to do it and you think, I'm never going to get this right. So I'm going to show you that this is not perfect. However, it's going to work because nobody is going to see it. Even if you kind of look around the corner a little bit, it doesn't show. So I'm going to be happy with this. And we're going to get this glued down. All right, so this is going to go on here. Let's get some, probably going to regret this, but let's see if we can get some glue on here without getting it everywhere. So the first piece is, I think, 1/16. It is 1/16. I just cut it. 1/16. It is 43 millimeters wide, going in this direction, and 176 millimeters long. So we're going to get that flush to the back. All right. And then even on the sides, like this. I'm going to put a 1, 2, 3 block on top. And get that clean. I'm going to go get some clamps. Should have bought those over, sorry. So my husband built some really, oh, I don't think the clamps are going to work on this. A great workbench for me a couple years ago, and I love it. I can't film on it, so you're not seeing it. He also built some great storage for me. Let that sit there for a minute. Also built some cabinets, built them into the wall, and made a nice workbench over there. And there's one extra area in the room that I have not been able to work on. It's where I do my cutting with my table saw and my, I don't know what the other saw is called, band saw maybe, scroll saw. And then I have an old dresser that I store a lot of supplies in. That's the last piece of this room that needed to get organized. So he's decided today is the day to get started. And the whole room is in complete disarray right now. So hopefully I can find everything as I need it. We shall see. But hopefully I'll find everything. Okay. So this is the piece that's going to go on top, and I've beveled this piece, and this is 1/8. Oops. 1/8. is this thickness. And I don't think it's like a plywood of some kind because I can see the layers in there, but that's fine. That's going to go on top and overhang just the tiniest bit across the top. Still have not made a decision on the feet. So I think what I'm going to do is not put the feet on because I really do think that it's going to look fine just sitting on the ground. If anybody disagrees, if you look at it and think, yeah, I think it needs to sit up, let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do about adding the feet on. But I think this is going to give me the look that I'm going for, and it's still going to have plenty of room in there, which once I'm done, we'll put it in and see how it looks. All right. Let's see. Woo. All right. And I can't decide. I was planning on painting this top the same color as this, but I kind of like the contrast. I don't know. I think I'll probably go with the white. I think I'll like it better. All right, so I'm just holding this down a little bit. Make sure those corners get stuck down. It is flush to the back. The other thing we need to still do, so I showed you before, I have this color card, and this is what's going in the family room. I have not picked up a color card for the office yet. I probably should. So let's get the glue on here. Okay. Now let's make sure we get that bevel right. I'll lay this down. It's got to move that way a little bit. All right, we're going to put 1, 2, 3 blocks right there in the middle. And I'll put my hands right here. There they are. I didn't bring 2 more in. Thought I did. Okay. That's good. I don't see anything coming out the sides. All right, we are ready to paint, and that looks so nice. I am really, 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 really pleased with how that turned out. Oh, I love that. So we're gonna get this painted, and the good news is I did test it in the room, and it fits perfectly, and there is plenty of space for the height if I decide that I want to do the feet on there. So there is plenty of room if we decide that's the best way to go. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it as it is here. And then, and like I said, anyone who's willing to comment and tell me what you think, whether I need the feet or not, I would love to know your opinion. And I realize that this is not an ideal situation here, but I'll be honest with you, it's kind of neat. It's kind of different. And I do like my stuff to be different, not like everybody else's. So I'm not unhappy with the way this turned out. Can't wait to get it in the room with all the stuff on it. Might show you a few of the pieces I have to go on it too. Okay. I think we're just going to do the one coat. I just put my hand right in that paint. It is pretty with the brown on top. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to paint it with the Chantelli because that was my original plan. If I do not like it with all white, I will put another coat of this on top. So maybe we'll try it both ways. Oh, I just think that turned out so good. I love it. All right, let me get the brush clean and we will get the Chantilly on. Now we have one last step that we're going to do, and I hope this is going to work. So I have the Van Dyke brown here. It's an antiquing medium, an antiquing glaze. The problem is I'm always afraid that I get too much, and that because it goes on dark and it dries much lighter, but I get into this bit of a panic when I first put it on, thinking, oh no, it's changing the color. But we're gonna try this. Now, here's another tip. I go to the Dollar Tree and I buy these little, they're like appetizer dishes. They're clear, they're $1.25 now. And I buy them for my mixing of my paints. And this is just flow additive that I'm putting in here because it's supposed to be good at watering the color down without reducing the pigment. So we're going to start this on sort of a spot that I'm not too worried about. And I'm going to paint it on like this. And I'm going to wipe it off. Oh yeah, I do like that. All right, we're going to start at the top. We're going to go right through here. Let it get in all the crannies and the cracks. And then I'm going to wipe it off. Wipe it back. Yes. Oh, I love how it got in there. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to paint it up here. Not sure about this because I'm not going to be able to really get in there and clean that. Okay, put some more in there. Sorry, I gotta be able to get in here and see. Okay. What I like about this is it getting into the cracks back here, the seam back there. I like the way that looks. You can make it as grungy or as not grungy as you want. You can make the color lighter. Oops. You could do smaller sections and wipe it back right away. I've done that before. You can put layers on if you'd rather do it that way. And any place that you get a little bit extra that really bothers you, you can always go back and dry brush a little bit of the Chantilly back on it, or whatever the color is for your shelf, and tone it down. I am loving the way this is turning out right now. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here it is without the feet. I think the top came out really good. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can move this in a little better. I really, really love how that turned out. I am super pleased with it. So now let's see what happens. So we would only be putting 2 feet. The rest would be on the back. or just wood, like a box. So that's what it would look like. Obviously they would be even. I can't tell if they're even, but I'm just balancing them on there. But there would be back here, you wouldn't see light because there would be a piece of wood for the feet here. There'd be a piece of wood behind this and this. And possibly a piece behind the feet going straight across to give it a more finished look. So if anybody out there wants to comment and weigh in, I am open to suggestions. Now I'm going to go put this in the house and we're going to check it out. Okay, so here's the room. It's not very wide, and that's where the stairs were supposed to come up, and I did close them off. Now we're going to slide this bad boy on this wall right back there. And I am loving the way that looks. Trying to get a little more light in there. Oops. Might be better without that light. Let me see. Oh, still got some shadows in there. But I love this. I think this looks amazing. I'm going to bring that light back up. And I'm going to show you. So here is a few pieces that I'm thinking about for here. So I have this right here, which I believe I'm going to paint them black and highlight them with gold. They're going to be sitting in here. I have a couple of different vases. I'm not sure which one I'll use, but that's one of them. And then I have a couple of busts. So here is a fantasy warrior. I think she is an elf. I think that looks really good. And then I have a smaller bust. So that's like one of the largest end. This is on the smaller end. But I have that. And then I have a couple more pieces. I have this couple. Now remember, she's a romance author, so she's got some stuff here. I don't know that we'll use all of it here, but... And then I have a little ballerina that I think needs to be reprinted. She's a little small. I don't know that I'll put her in here. I might put her on the desk. And here's some more vases. Maybe put a little pink over here. Whoops. I have my tweezers with me. Bottom. Let me see. We got this one instead. If that's better. There we go. So I have that, and then I have this angel that I just think is really beautiful. She's like a little flower angel, maybe. There's some flowers in there. And I was thinking maybe I'd have her on top with a basket, maybe a plant. I am really, really pleased with how this turned out. I just cannot tell you. And then here is the desk. Now it's not going to stay black. It's going to be painted the same color as that. And I'm thinking the desk will go there. And I have a pink and white office gaming chair that I'm thinking, well, it's not pink and white. I'd paint it pink and white, but it's a gaming chair that I think I'm going to print to go with the desk. Up here, we're going to have posters with her book covers in it. So I am really pleased. Please ignore those. Go on the stairs when the stairs are ready. And then marble, white and black floor. And the corally pink walls. I think this is going to look amazing. I am so happy with those shelves. Please give me a comment down below. Tell me what you think, what you like about it. If you think we should put feet on it, it'll give it a little more height. So we have plenty of room for the height in here. And, of course, there's going to be some books on there. I have to have some books. Maybe an award that she won will be up there. If you have any other ideas for the shelf that I can put on there, let me know. And please subscribe for the next video. I would love to have you follow along, like, share, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.